Hi, Miguel here, back with another Naruto vlog. Today we are doing volume 23, Predicament. The irony of this volume is that despite the fact that it's very action-packed, we have like 3 different battles going on in 3 different places at the same time. We don't get a lot done. There's a lot to talk about, like, action-wise, but, like, story-wise, not a whole lot progresses. So it's been a hot minute since I last recorded one of these. I actually, if you haven't been watching my Orange vlogs, I've actually been putting off recording the last volume of Orange because I didn't even know how to talk about it. But, you know, I wanted to record these in order, like alternate between Orange and Naruto. So the longer I put off Orange, the more, the longer it would take for me to upload Naruto. So anyway, I finally uploaded that. You will probably see it. Check it out in the channel if you haven't seen it already. But anyway, so I had to reread this volume in order to make sure I got everything right. So we have 3 different battles going on here. In previous videos, I hypothesized that maybe they'd be doing this thing where, you know, the enemy would leave one person behind to fight one person from Naruto's you know, expedition people from the shinobi of Konohagakure, right? So they did that with Choji, they did that with Neji. Both of them stayed behind to fight someone, and now there are 2 of them. There were 2 Sound Ninja left to fight Shikamaru, Naruto, and Kiba, and Akamaru. I was not entirely correct in that prediction. I was kind of correct, but they actually pulled. Naruto actually manages to get. They actually managed to get Sasuke back. At least a little bin that they're keeping him in, which is weird. Which is helping him to learn how to control his mark and activate, I'm assuming, his next state. So they killed him temporarily, but they're going to bring him back in order to make the mark, in order to attune his body to the mark, right? But Naruto and company have managed to get Sasuke back, at least the container that's holding him. And here's where things get interesting. The battle actually splits up into 3. We have a new enemy coming in, Kimimaro, who Kabuto actually seemed to be experimenting on or something. And this person is very terrifying. Kimimaro faces off against Naruto, and I think it's a she. A lot of these, I noticed this about shonen villains sometimes, like Frieza, for example, and even Orochimaru to an extent. Haku was one of them. They have very... you can't tell what gender they are right off the bat. They're very gender fluid, you know, and it adds to their kind of creepiness, the creepy feel. At least that's how I understand it from the way shonen was brought about at the time. So to that regard, you can't really tell what Kimimaru's. At least I couldn't tell what the gender was. So for now, I'm just going to say she, because it seemed like a she right off the bat. But Naruto takes on Kimimaro, and he actually taps into the nine-tailed fox spirit's chakra in order to take on Kimimaro because, you know, she just seemed that powerful. And he creates like an army of shadow clones of the type we remember, like seeing how Mizuki was completely like flattened by the amount of shadow clones that Naruto conjured. But when he attempts to attack Kimimaro, we learn what Kimimaro's little ability is. He actually, she, I'm going with she. She actually pulls her own bone out of her body and just uses it as a weapon and like heals up the wound. And I'm like, that's weird, that's creepy, that's you know. That's creative. That's really creative, using your own bone as a weapon, but it's also really creepy. And it kind of, her personality, her like very aloof, like sort of, you know, personality, kind of adds to the creepy element of that. When she sees Naruto tap into the nine-tailed fox's chakra and create like 1,000,001 shadow doppelgangers, she looks around. She's like, interesting, and it's like, okay, all right, you're just completely unfazed by this, which is kind of creepy to some regard. That battle, as far as I remember, remains unfinished, and so we also have Kiba and Sakon. Kiba, of course, is accompanied by Akamaru, and they try the Fang over Fang technique that they did with Naruto, where Kiba basically takes on the form of a beast, and, well, not the form, but like the qualities of a beast, and Akamaru also takes on the form of Kiba. It's a really great technique. It's a really great way for the two to work off of each other. But it turns out that it's not 2-on-1. Sakon actually has like his brother inside of him, and that's kind of his second state thing. That his brother actually like is assimilated into his cells and can like leave at any time and fight alongside him, which is creepy. And his brother Ukon, I believe is his name. His brother is absolutely bloodthirsty, which is it's very unnerving. And Ukon at one point actually reveals that he can merge into anybody's cells. At one point he merges with Kiba and threatens to kill him from inside. And Kiba's like, yeah, okay. And he actually injures himself to get Ukon out of there. And that was very brave of Kiba. I gotta say, I really like Kiba. I'm not that into him yet. Like, they didn't really go much into his backstory. They didn't really go much into his relationship with, well, we see his relationship with Akamaru, which is what makes it good. But we don't really see how they met, if it's a clan thing, which I don't mind. I don't mind not seeing that, but at the same time, like, it does, their relationship is really what keeps them together, as what stands out to me, for Kiba as a character. And Kiba, it's revealed that Kiba is actually the first person to injure himself to get Ukon out of his body. And Ukon's like, no one has ever done this before, which is cool. And Kiba reveals he also has this ability, where he can basically, like, he and Akamaru can change into a wolf, and basically attack Sakon and Ukon like that. It's really interesting. But at the same time, like, I don't remember this battle getting finished. I remember them managing to slow Sakon and Ukon down long enough for Naruto and Shikamaru to continue doing what they're doing, but I don't remember there being any particular conclusion to that battle. Again, it's been a hot minute since I read this, and I had to like flip through it real quick to get back basically what happened. But yeah, so, and battle number 3 is Shikamaru and Tayuya. So the Tayuya reveals, I believe reveals her ability to be basically, she can summon these zombie things and these earthworm things and basically control them with her flute, which is bad for Shikamaru because he is a master strategist, so he likes to identify how his opponent's jutsu works and how he can counter it. But when he looks at the flute and he realizes, like, I don't know anything about music, so I don't know how to counter this. I can't identify the patterns and the melodies that are controlling these things, so I don't know how to counter it. But he does so. Interestingly enough, I really like this bit. Any of you who knows me knows, like, I'm very big on music theory. I'm very knowledgeable about that sort of thing. So he, instead of listening to the music, he looks at the player's fingers on the flute and figures it out from there. And again, we see Shikamaru's master strategy abilities at work, because he is able to redirect Tayuya's attention to the zombies that he's controlling with his shadow possession technique thing, and in doing so, he manages to distract her and find a way to get the shadow to her and thus control her. And we do see a little bit of Tayuya's second state, not a whole lot. She basically like uses melodies of Fantasia or something like that to change Shikamaru, but we don't see a whole lot of that because Shikamaru immediately reveals that, oh, by the way, that was a whole other distraction. I am now in control of you with my shadow possession technique. It's interesting, but you know, I kind of wish we saw more of that. And again, like, it hasn't been concluded yet. So like, for all that this volume does, like with regards to action, like how interesting Sakon and Ukon are, the fact that Ukon like can assimilate into people's bodies, that he's traveling inside Sakon this entire time, how interesting Tayuya's abilities are with the flute and, you know, the controlling zombies, and how Shikamaru actually learns to counter that, which, you know, displays more of Shikamaru as a master strategist and basically a genius who is able to find unconventional solutions to these problems. And, you know, also Kimimaro, who is proving to be a challenge for Naruto even as he taps into the chakra of the fox spirit. And, you know, Kimimaro's ability as well, to pull her own bones out of her body. Like, that's creepy. And, you know, the personality that comes with that, that's really good. You know, the good parts about this volume come from the characters and how they utilize their abilities in battle. That said, there's nothing really substantial going on plot-wise. I mean, like, we have Sasuke, we have him, but we just need to save him, right? But Sasuke has not woken up yet. These, you know, the Sound Ninja, they're not prevailing. The battle isn't really swaying one way or another. So, like, it's kind of an air volume, honestly. I like the characters. I love seeing their abilities in action, but I kind of want the plot to move forward a little bit. And then again, like I said, I read this a while ago. And I shouldn't have put it off because of Orange, but I did, and maybe that contributed to me not enjoying this volume as much as I should have. But you know what? It's all good. I know there are lots of other volumes. There's lots of other stories to tell in Naruto. So and again, the action was good. Characters were good. Characters' abilities were good. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about this volume. I wish I could say more, but, you know, it didn't seem like there was a whole lot else to talk about. So, that pretty much wraps up Volume 23, so thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and hit like. And if you haven't already, check out my Orange vlogs, which recently just concluded with Volume 5 of Orange. It's a very heartwarming story about a girl who receives a letter from her future self telling her how not to live with regrets, how to save the person who she really, really loves from a terrible fate, basically. It's a very heartwarming story. Definitely check out my opinions on that, on those. I'll put it up here in the somewhere on the screen. So, somewhere on the screen. Check it out. And, if you haven't already, also check out my Pokemon Adventures Revisited series. We're currently on Volume 2. Basically, it's your average Pokemon story, except it's very, very good. I read it as a kid, and I wanted to revisit it as an adult to see how it holds up, how it stands the test of time. So I've been uploading that every Saturday, so definitely check those out if you have not already. And, that said, I will see you for the next Naruto volume, or whenever I get to see you. Who knows?